we've been in construction for over 30 years, and we've never seen what we're having to see nowadays. We're having to go to lengths and measures of fencing in our whole subdivision that we've developed just to give peace of mind to even workers that have proper documentation to be here. And my grandparents are American citizens. We've been here a long time, and we've never seen something like this. We voted for Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump, you're supposed to be our hero, man. But I don't understand how this makes any sense.
Sheriff calls out ICE because one of the correction officers who was squeaky clean, no criminal record, was detained by ICE even though he had the correct documentations to be working here, and they did multiple background checks on him. This man, who supported Donald Trump, his wife voted for Donald Trump 3 times, has been working in the US for 40 years now, has been consistently renewing his work visas, had no reason to be detained, was taken by ICE while in an airport, and held there for 108 consecutive days. If you're wondering why your employees, even the documented ones and the ones with permits, like you said in your video, are scared to show up to work, it's because it doesn't matter if they have the legal grounds to be here and the legal paperwork to work, they are still getting detained and deported by ICE. And we told you that would happen, and you told us we were fear-mongering, that no, there's no way that ICE would touch people who are legally allowed to be here, yet they have. Thousands of migrants have been nabbed outside of their immigration hearings and their court hearings and their check-ins. These are people who came into the country, have work visas, have all the rights to be here, and it didn't matter. This administration has a quota to meet, so they are actively deporting people who are here legally. And we have so many more cases of this. So, I don't know. Go find some white boys to work for you, because that's what you told us. We warned you. We said the workforce was going to plummet when this happens, and you said that's fine. These hardworking Americans will step in 100%. Well, it looks like your job site is empty because these lazy-ass mofos are not stepping up to the plate. And we told you immigrants were some of the most hardworking people in this country.
It's not good. MAGA Latino voters are not happy. They're in disarray about what Trump done the first 6 months. Well, you're getting everything you deserve. You're getting deportation and everything. Trump told you what he was going to do, and you didn't believe him. So MAGA Latino voters, we don't care about you. We don't care if you don't get no money. We don't care if you get deported. We don't care if you lose all your benefits. You never become citizens. They take your legal status citizen. They deport you anywhere they want to. We don't care. We'll be happy about it. Why? Because you didn't listen to what people said. Donald Trump, MAGAs and Republicans told you exactly what they're going to do. You didn't listen. You didn't believe. You didn't want to believe. You thought it was a fairy tale. Now it's not good. I'm losing my money. I'm losing my benefits. I'm losing my citizenship. We don't care. Okay? Latino MAGA voters, you voted for Donald Trump. You're getting exactly what you deserve. I'm going to say it again. You're getting exactly what you deserve. And I'm happy. And it's going to get worse for you. So if you get deported, you have no money. We don't care. We won't cry you any river. We don't care what happens to you because you did all of this to yourselves.
Many Latinos for Trump, they say they voted for him for a better economy. They say that during his first term presidency, the economy was booming. But now most of their businesses are collapsing because of immigration crackdown. Most of their workers are afraid to go to work due to the fear of ICE, and our fear is spreading through their communities, and families are being pushed to the edge. So now many say they feel betrayed, and they're now regretting their vote. So let's have a look.
The Latinos that voted for Trump because of the economy. I'm sorry, I tried. How's it going? ¿Cómo les va? Hold on. Like, seriously, have you made more money?
I always get confused when someone say they vote for Trump for the economy, because if you look at the top 10 states with the highest GDP per capita, most of them are blue. Well, you might say GDP per capita is not a good indicator of quality of life. You should look at the average income. Well, if you look at the average income per capita, then more states out of the top 10 are blue. So, am I missing something? Can someone who voted for Trump enlighten me a little bit?
You ask them why they're voting for Trump, they say the economy. You ask what he did for the economy, they go quiet.
One thing that's not going to happen is me having a platform and me not speaking out. My TikTok family, I am Mexican. I will always stand up for my people. I'll always stand up for what's right and what's wrong, period. What's happening right now is not okay. ICE is on a hunt around the country to deport as many people as they can. They're specifically targeting the Hispanic community. They are yanking people from their families. 9 out of 10 times they don't even have a warrant. And for the people who think this is okay, things are happening right in front of everybody's faces. And some people still want to be oblivious to the fact that this is happening. This is real. It's happening everywhere. They are keeping people in poor conditions. They're not even checking the status of people. So that's how they're taking U.S. citizens, because they're just, if you're brown skin and you fit the criteria, you're automatically a target. I'm okay losing followers. If you're not going to like me because I'm standing up for myself, my community, that's on you. This is a really dangerous situation for everybody. Just read that ICE pulled up to a graduation targeting the Hispanic community, and there was parents running out of their own kids' graduation because they were there to get people. But going about their day not doing anything. I'm going to keep praying for everybody. There's too much hate and animosity just going around. It's insane.
I hate it when MAGA Latinos go, oh, my parents did it the legal way. Buddy, the legal way for your parents was that Reagan gave them amnesty in the 80s. Yeah, just for being here at the right time. So don't come at me and saying your parents did it the legal way. They were just lucky. All right. And I know your ass wouldn't want the undocumented immigrants today to have the same chance that your parents did. No, you want them thrown in concentration camps. Your parents should be ashamed of you, dude.
Also, you left Latin America because you say you were living under a dictatorship where you weren't allowed to criticize the government. You know, they were taking away your rights. So you came to the United States, got papers, and voted for Donald Trump? Okay.
To all the Latinos who voted for Trump, I hope you are happy. I genuinely hope you are okay with seeing families being torn apart, parents separated from their children, people taken from their homes without any warning. It's honestly so heartbreaking and unfair. These are hardworking individuals who came here to build a better life. They are not criminals. I say this with so much empathy because my dad was an immigrant too. Unfortunately, he passed away 4 years ago. But he came to this country wanting a better life. He didn't have a criminal record, and he had a strong work ethic. Although he came from nothing, he gave us everything. Because of him, we always had food on the table and a roof over our heads.
So this Latina, who is a Trump supporter, got deported from Mexico back to the US, and I want to use this video to show y'all, no matter how hard you try, you will never be white. And I say that because she made videos going, oh, look, people are making too big of a deal about Trump and the deportations. He's only going after criminals. If you want to be here, you should do it the right way. Then she goes to Mexico, gets stopped by authorities. While she's coming back from a concert, they check her papers and then they deport her. Now, they deported her because she overstayed her visa. I know some people are like, well, you should have done it the right way. Calm down. Let's just give her a little grace here. She's not a criminal. Sure, she has ideologies you don't agree with, but she wasn't committing any crimes. She was down in Mexico partying it up. Now, this is where the you'll never be white part comes in. There's over 1 million undocumented white people living in Mexico. They are taking advantage of the system. They're not paying taxes. They're down there just partying it up. And like advocates in Mexico have been saying, that authorities don't go after white people. They actually go after brown people. So you were racially profiled in a country that you were trying to get dual citizenship for. So if you were racially profiled in Mexico, what do you think is going to happen to you in the US when Trump comes into office? Because there are at least 500,000 white people undocumented in the US, and they're never bothered. Because I need you to remember that the immigration system was never set up to hurt white people. It was set up to hurt people of color globally. Our movements are constantly restricted, while white people are never bothered when they do the same thing we do. So as much as you say, oh, well, if you want to come to this country, you have to do it the right way. It is not about doing it the right way. It is always, the immigration system has always been about hurting black and brown people, no matter where we are in the world. So please keep thinking how you're safe now that you're in the US, back in your home country. They don't see you as a US citizen either. They want to take away your citizenship. They want to denaturalize people. So please, let's get rid of that colonized mind, because this immigration system was never made for us.
I don't know why it's so difficult for people to understand. And I'm getting to this point after watching Taffy's video about what's happening with the Latino community right now in the United States and the mass deportations happening and ICE raids in elementary schools. I don't know why it is hard for many people to understand that Latinos are like human beings and have goals and aspirations, and don't get it twisted, they're not here because they just woke up one day and wanted to be here. You know, it's deeper than that. And also, Latinos aren't just laborers doing back-breaking labor that no American wants to do. Yes, a huge majority of Latinos work in agriculture, work in construction, but like for you to be like, that's all they do is deeply upsetting. So maybe just think of them as human beings who came to this country and wanted a better life because of the deregulation and chaos happening back home, perpetuated probably more than likely by the United States. So yes, but also no. They're people too.
What you're witnessing right now goes far beyond politics. It's a deeply human situation unfolding in real time. Across many communities, there's a growing sense of fear, confusion, and for some regret. Some who once felt hopeful about the future are now facing a reality that feels very different from what they imagined. Many Latino business owners are finding themselves in incredibly difficult positions. These are people who build their businesses from the ground up, long hours, personal sacrifice, and years of dedication. But now, some of these same businesses are struggling to survive because the workforce they rely on is afraid. When workers are scared to leave their homes, when showing up to a job feels like a risk, everything begins to slow down. Restaurants can't open on time. Construction projects stall. Small family-run shops can't operate at full capacity. And slowly, what was once stable begins to collapse. This is how fear affects an economy, not just through numbers, but through people. And it doesn't stop at businesses. The emotional toll on families is even more heartbreaking. Imagine being a child and constantly worrying that your parents might not come home one day. Imagine parents having to plan for worst-case scenarios, thinking about who will take care of their children if something happens to them. This is their daily reality. Even those who are in the country legally are feeling the pressure. There are reports of increased scrutiny, of people feeling like they have to constantly prove that they belong, constantly look over their shoulder, and that kind of environment creates stress, anxiety, and a sense of not being safe, even when you've done everything right. For many, this is where the feeling of betrayal starts to come in. For people who are experiencing regret, it's better to understand how decisions shape reality. Many people voted for mass deportations, thinking that it wouldn't affect them, it would affect other people. It's better to understand that policies translate into everyday life. Choices made at the ballot box can ripple through the entire communities. And this isn't just about shaming anyone. It's about recognizing reality and asking important questions moving forward. How do we protect families? How do we support small businesses? And how do we create an environment where people feel safe enough to work, to live, and to build their futures? These are the questions that matter now. Because at the end of the day, behind every headline, behind every policy, behind every political debate, there are people. People trying to live their lives. People trying to build something better. And people trying to hold on to hope when things get difficult. Hope you're learning something here. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.